Dr. Phillip Theophrastus Gribbleflotz stood back while his patron, King Wenceslaus V Adalbertus, formerly known as Albrecht Wenzel Eusebius von Wallenstein, was helped back into his bed by his valet. "Enough!" the king roared, waving away the man who was trying to drape a blanket over his shoulders. He looked pointedly at the cloth-covered item on the three-legged easel a couple of servants had carried into the room when Philip arrived. "What do you have to show me?" he demanded. Philip allowed himself a quick smile of satisfaction as he gazed at the cloth-covered item. "I have recently achieved an advance in the science of color photography." He gestured for one of the servants to remove the cloth. "Your Majesty, I give you the Gribblechrome." King Wenceslaus leaned forward to get a better look. "Amazing." He looked at Philip. "That is your good wife and your children?" "Yes," Philip said, as he cast his eyes over the Gribblechrome image of Dina, John, and Salome. The color needed more work, but the image was a good proof of concept. He was just about to say that, suitably rephrased for the ear of his patron, when the doors burst open. Philip's initial reaction was one of abject terror. He knew his patron's uptime history. On February 25th, 1634, in the uptimer's universe, assassins burst into Wallenstein's, as the king was then known, bedchamber and murdered him. Was this an assassination? Terror turned to relief when Philip spotted the massive turban with its equally enormous gemstone brooch worn by the great Dr. Thomas Stone. It was not assassins after all. With his heart rate returning to normal, Philip allowed himself to be distracted by the costume Dr. Stone was wearing. How was it possible that the man responsible for some of the great colors that he personally wore would wear something so drab as a black turban, even if it did sport silver threads? "Thanks be to the Lord Jesus," Dr. Stone bellowed. "I am here in time. Gupta, the Violet Ray, this is an emergency." They should have made for the king. This was, after all, the king's chamber, but they did not. Instead, both made for Philip. His heart rate started to spike again. "Doctor, God save us!" Dr. Stone shouted. Dr. Stone started spraying Philip with something from a bottle. There was renewed panic as Philip put up his hands to protect his finery. "Your chakras," Dr. Stone said, "are fluctuating so dangerously that we felt the effects in the antechambers."